In his heat race, he just shot out of the gate. He could be gone. I don't see that Jeremy or Carmichael is any faster. Carmichael's heat, as a matter of fact, was only a second faster than Ezra's.
9:34. Don't overlook Villeman there. On the inside as the 32nd board is up. And round number 6 of EA Supercross, Sports Supercross, is about to begin from Indianapolis. Going through the nervous routine, Robbie Rayner pats the hands. There's Jeremy extending his arms. With the 32nd board up, the nerves are starting now, and now we'll rev up, getting set for Supercross from Indianapolis, Indiana. Well, Ricky Carmichael gets the SFX.com whole shot, an extra $1,000 in his pocket. Right there, Ferry, number 15, and McGrath.
He was a little squirrely getting into that first corner, but it paid off. Look at him. He goes right, jumps right into the whoops. He only touches once through there. Unbelievable. He's gone.
It's Tim Ferry on the Yamaha 4-stroke in second place. And Jeremy McGrath in third. Villeman has moved up to fifth behind Ezra Lusk. So all the big guns are up there. Now the question is, can Ricky take away with it?
Well, if Phoenix was any indication of what Ricky can do with the whole shot, I'd say absolutely. I don't see anybody that's got more speed than Carmichael that can reel him in. It's coming down to desire and a little bit of luck. Jeremy's in good position, though. Ezra's right behind him. And
Kevin Windham trying to move up after a so-so start. So it's Carmichael, Ferry, McGrath, Lusk, and Villeman, the top 5.
What a fast pace.
There's Windham approaching Voss.
Windham gets the pass done right there by tripling into that corner. That's where McGrath crashed in practice, flipping the top of the second one that they fly over.
So he's up to 6th, and David Villeman is his next target.
Now look at Ricky. He's already starting to open up a little bit. He's got Ferry back there. It's a little bit of a buffer before he gets back to McGrath. And there won't be any kind of team orders at this point in the year. Ferry's racing McGrath just like he would anywhere else, unless it was coming down to the end and he was asked to move out of the way. I don't think that's going to happen here.
How do you see it down below, Davey?
Well, I'll tell you what, watch Jeremy through the whoops this time. His mechanic, Skip Norfolk, put the board out that time around. It said jump in. I know Jeremy knows what he was talking about.
Yeah, he absolutely knows. They were watching that 125 main a little while ago where Travis Pastrana won it, and he only touched once through there. Jeremy wheelies all the way to the center and gets out pretty quick. He knows what he needs to do. That was still fast that way, but not quite as fast as Carmichael out front.
Obviously, Skip Norfolk, his fear is that Carmichael will pull away.
And I think that's Jeremy, after losing in the heat race to Lusk, he was riding hard. He's got to be going, what is going on here? But this is actually more like what we should have been seeing for the other 7 years that Jeremy dominated this sport. Now it's a race. It's like it was in the great 80s when you got a lot of guys battling back and forth.
So Carmichael, though, only out in front by 1.5 seconds on Ferry, and then McGrath is right there.
Now, the good thing about where Jeremy is with Lusk pushing him, that's going to keep him honest. That pace is going to stay fast. And, it's going to be Carmichael out front this week worrying a little bit down the stretch.
So the scenario has changed from last week, that's for sure, with Carmichael coming up from 9th and just blistering the course. Right now, Ricky's trying to set the pace.
How about this? Ferry can't stay quite with Carmichael, but he's held off Jeremy and those guys without having to block or anything, and he turned in a 48.8 second lap time, faster than Jeremy's last lap.
And so the interval all of a sudden has moved up to 4 seconds. This is the only stadium that Tim Ferry has finished on the podium. And right now, he's holding off Jeremy McGrath, number 15 on the 4-stroke Yamaha. And Jeremy McGrath, Mazda Yamaha, right behind him, second and third. It's important for Jeremy to make a move for that points race.
Now he can see what Skip is talking about, jumping into that whoop section. Ferry's doing what Carmichael's doing out front because he saw Ricky do it.
It's amazing, Ferry in the YZ426F. He's rebounding from that big crash in Phoenix. That shows me something.
Well, that was scary because, what happened to Button, he kind of went head first into a whoop. And Ferry did the same thing, and he stretched the muscles in his neck. scared the heck out of me, but he's rebounded. Nice comeback. Look at this. I mean, it's not like he's got all kinds of pressure. He's holding these guys off.
While Carmichael has almost a 4.3-second lead. Tim Ferry, Rookie of the Year in motocross in '92. He won the 125E Supercross title in '97. And he was top privateer with very little support in 1999. He won more than $40,000 SFX bonus money for being the top privateer in 9 of the 16 races.
Tell you what, Wyndham is starting to climb his way up into this battle. I have a feeling we're going to hear about him a little bit more before this main event is over. Got around Villeman back there, and Lusk is like I was saying before, Lusk is starting to apply the pressure to Jeremy again. He made a mistake, lost some time, but he's gained that back. Jeremy can feel it. He's starting to really turn up the heat on Ferry now.
Carmichael, Ferry, McGrath, Lusk, and Wyndham, and then Villeman.
See how Jeremy cruised through that corner? Can't do it. You cannot afford to do that with Carmichael in the race, riding the way he is. That's time lost that he's got to go somewhere psycho pace to make back up.
Whoa. Firing through those whoops with only one bounce.
Unbelievable. I think there's 15 or 16 of those loops about 3 or 4 feet apart. These guys only touched once through there.
Ferry and McGrath with Carmichael out in front. On the Honda stopwatch, you can see how Carmichael is pulling away.
McGrath, that time he cut that corner a little tight, had to dodge that tough block. But he is starting to get up there, get a little bit more impatient. He's pulled away from Ezra now. He needs to get around Ferry. He can't afford to leave here 5 points down, plus the 3 he's already down. He's got to get around Ferry. Maybe try to close on Carmichael towards the end of this race. Even if he can't beat him, close on him and let Ricky think about that for a couple weeks.
Now this could be the best finish for a four-stroke since Jimmy Button got on the podium. And then Doug Henry, that lone four-stroke win was back in '97 in Las Vegas. Here comes Jeremy McGrath for DeMar. Ferry looks over to him to his right and then cuts. McGrath without a cut. Without a block pass, he didn't have to bang him because Ferry is going to the inside. Back and forth we go. A great battle amongst Yamaha. The crowd going nuts.
That was a block pass that slowed them both down, but Jeremy had to do it. I think Tim understands. Lusk is right there. Look at Jeremy. Jumps all the way into the middle. He's not losing time through that whoop section anymore. And he can't afford to because Lusk is right there.
Jeremy McGrath about 10 seconds behind the leader. But he's cutting his losses right now. Ezra Lusk, his next target is Tim Ferry to knock him off the podium.
Good ride for Lusk, but if he's not really in the title chase, this is not even close to his expectations. He wants to be ahead of Jeremy chasing Carmichael, who is just making all these guys look bad right now. He's 11 seconds up now on Jeremy.
Let's check in with Davey Coombs trackside.
Well, while we were watching that McGrath-Ferry battle, 2 of the front runners went down right behind him in separate crashes. David Villeman and Kevin Wyndham just blew their top 5 places. Villeman was in 5th, Wyndham was in 6th. They crashed. They're back behind Sebastian Tortelli and Heath Voss now.
Boy, bad breaks for Wyndham. And Villeman, he's had a very tough start on the season. As we take a look at Ezra Lusk, who, well, if it wasn't for bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all this year. Jeremy McGrath in 2nd place. But number 4 has proved earlier this season that once in the lead, oh, he fishtailed. We'll be right back to see if Ricky Carmichael can remain under control. Well, from this shot in Indianapolis, Indiana, it looks like everybody's pretty spread apart. Well, that's the case with Ricky Carmichael out in front of Jeremy McGrath. But the real battle is going on for 4th place right now. Here's Ricky Carmichael, your leader. And a 3-way battle for 3rd. You've got Tortelli, and you've got Ferry, and Ezra Lusk currently nails down third, but it doesn't look like for long if he doesn't step it up.
Tortelli's had a really tough time coming back from that shoulder injury, but it's starting to feel better, and we're starting to see he's not just an outdoor rider. He's a great rider indoors or out as long as he's healthy.
He had the 4th best lap times in practice behind Villeman, RC, and Matt.
Track's really starting to get tricky right now. You see Lusk blow that a little bit. These guys are starting to have to cruise through these corners a little bit just to make sure they get the line they need, the rut they need to pick, so they can still jump things.
So far, Ezra Lusk able to hold on to 3rd place. Number 11, approaching more lappers now. Kyle Lewis, number 24, the veteran. Carmichael is now out by 9.1 seconds.
After that heat race win that Ezra Lusk posted over McGrath, would you have thought that Tortelli would be threatening him for a position? I wouldn't have. That's what's happening.
Ezra Lusk and Tortelli from Team Honda. Number 11 and 13. And Tim Ferry slips back a notch. Still in the top 5.
He's not letting those guys go, though. Look at Ricky. That's the idea of the lead back to McGrath. McGrath still hadn't come over that big tunnel jump yet.
Let's go to David Coombs right now.
Art, you just mentioned how surprised you were at how well Sebastian Tortelli's riding. Keep this in mind. Down here on the track, it's become a motocross track. It looks like an outdoor track. And right now, Ricky Carmichael and Sebastian Tortelli are the 2 best motocross riders in the world.
That's a good point. This track is starting to develop berms and braking bumps and ruts, and it does take on a lot more of an outdoor feel right now. Tortelli just slams that landing, overjumps it. He's so strong, it doesn't matter. Larocco also strong in these kind of conditions, but of course that ailing foot is not helping any.
Tortelli, a 52.5 second lap time on the last lap. Jeremy McGrath, to compare it, is 52.1.
Michael Byrne on the sidelines. There's a tricky triple. There's 3 triples down the straightaway there with the ruts that are starting to develop. He's got crossroaded in there probably and came up short on one of those. He's back up.
Michael Byrne's been pretty impressive this year as we go back to Ricky Carmichael, whose best lap time was a 48.6. He's now running in the 51.
I just watch him right here. He decides he doesn't want to triple through there. He can't because of the yellow flags, but he's got enough of a lead now that if he doesn't feel comfortable with one of those big jumps, he doesn't have to wear himself out or worry about having to jump it.
It looks like Carmichael will get the pad of the points race he was looking for coming into the RCA Dome. Chad Watts' mechanic. Focus, carry the speed. The advice to the leader.
Oh, look at the deep the rut is right there. Ricky's not quite at the intensity he was to get the big lead, but this guy's doing things right. Watch the momentum he has into the corner. He doesn't waste any time. Right back on the power.
Jeremy McGrath is picking things up as we take a look at the whoops. Whoa, did he fishtail on that one? White flag lap underway. Last lap for number 4.
There goes Ricky. Triples 3 times through that section, and the coast was clear. He decided to go for it. He's starting to have fun now. He can sense the win.
Jeremy McGrath has lost 3 consecutive races before, but he has never lost 3 consecutive races to one rider. Could the RCA Dome stand for Ricky Carmichael again? Oh, Ricky putting on a display himself. Little knack-knack going on. The checkers for Ricky Carmichael. The battle for third is still on with Ezra Lusk and Tortelli. It's a bang-bang one. Team Honda. And barely inching out his teammate is Ezra Lusk for the final podium spot. Carmichael.